They promised quantum computing would save us. Cure cancer, fix traffic, stop buffering during Netflix. Instead, in 2025, we're still praying to router gods and yeeting Excel sheets into the void. Maybe quantum just means fancy tantrum machine. Welcome to the chaotic circus of quantum computing.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources, filter out the noise, and just give you the core insights. And today, we're jumping into something that feels, well, let's be honest, a bit provocative. Quantum computers were supposed to change everything, but here we are, still waiting for them to change anything. I mean, seriously, it's 2025. We've been hearing about quantum this, quantum that, paradigm shifts for years now. This future where these machines would solve, everything. But where are they? So our mission today is to really unpack why. Why isn't quantum computing mainstream yet? Despite all the hype, all the breathless articles, we're digging into what we were promised versus, well, the kind of frustrating reality of where things actually stand today.
That's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of it. You've got this incredible theoretical power on one hand and these immense practical challenges on the other. And to understand why it's not running your smartphone yet, we probably need to quickly touch on what makes them so powerful in theory. So think about regular computers. Your laptop, right? It uses bits. Simple. Either a 0 or a 1, on or off, binary.
Right, straightforward.
Quantum computers, totally different ballgame. They use qubits, and here's where it gets, well, weird and wonderful. A qubit isn't just 0 or 1. It can actually be 0 and 1 at the same time. It exists in this state called superposition.
Okay, hold on. Both at once. How does that work?
Well, the classic analogy is a spinning coin. Before it lands, is it heads or tails? Heads or tails?
Huh. Kind of neither. Or
exactly. It's in a superposition of heads and tails.
Yeah.
A qubit is like that spinning coin until you measure it. It holds all possibilities. So one qubit can handle way more information than one classical bit.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just on or off. It's like on and off and maybe shades in between. All at once. That's fundamentally different.
It is. And then there's another layer.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. It's called entanglement.
Mm-hmm.
This is where things get even stranger. You can link 2 or more qubits together in this really deep way.
Yeah.
They become entangled. And the weird part is, even if you separate them, like across the room or even across the country, measuring one instantly tells you something about the state of the other one. Instantly. It's this weird connection, not communication faster than light, mind you, but a fundamental correlation.
So, like quantum twins. If you know one is wearing a red hat, you instantly know the other one is wearing a blue hat, no matter how far apart.
That's a decent way to think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
It captures that linked fate idea.
Okay, so qubits can be 0 and 1 simultaneously, and they can be spookily linked across space.
Yeah.
I can see why the sources say these things are theoretically millions of times faster. It's like, instead of trying one key in a lock, then the next,
Right.
a quantum computer tries all the keys at the same time.
That's the essence of it, this massive parallelism, exploring this huge space of possibilities simultaneously, combined with entanglement representing complex relationships. That's the source of the power. It means they could potentially tackle problems that are just impossible for today's supercomputers. Think drug discovery, designing new materials, optimizing global logistics, maybe even cracking tough AI challenges.
Okay, that sounds incredible. Truly game-changing stuff. Which naturally brings us right back to the core question. If it's so magical, so powerful, why isn't my phone quantum? Why isn't anything quantum in my daily life? What's the holdup?
Ah, yes. The holdup. This is where we hit the cold, harsh reality, as you put it, moving from theory to a working, reliable machine. That's where the really hard problems are. And they're not just engineering tweaks, they're fundamental physics challenges.
And challenge number 1, the one everyone seems to mention first, qubits are apparently total divas.
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
They are incredibly sensitive. To maintain those delicate quantum states, superposition, entanglement, they need conditions that are just extreme.
Extreme how?
We're talking temperature. They need to be unbelievably cold, like around minus 273 degrees Celsius.
Minus 273 C? Isn't that basically absolute zero?
Very, very close. Just a tiny fraction of a degree above. It's significantly colder than outer space.
Colder than outer space.
Yep. You need these enormous complex machines called dilution refrigerators just to get them that cold.
Okay, so forget putting one in my pocket then. It needs a fridge the size of a room. And it's not just the cold, right?
Yeah.
They're sensitive little things.
Extremely sensitive. That's the other part of the diva problem. It's cold and isolation.
Yeah.
Any tiny bit of noise, actual sound noise, electrical noise, even a tiny vibration. Yeah. Or a slight change in temperature or stray magnetic fields. Any of it can make the qubit lose its quantum state. It's called decoherence.
Decoherence.
And when that happens, poof. The superposition collapses, the entanglement breaks. It just becomes like a regular bit again. All the quantum advantage vanishes.
So it glitches harder than my old school's projector if someone even breathes too close.
That's the scale of sensitivity we're dealing with, yeah. You need incredible shielding, vibration dampening, the works. It's a massive engineering lift just to create the right environment.
Okay, so they're divas needing perfect conditions. But even if you manage that, the problems don't stop there, do they?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Which brings us to challenge number 2. Quantum errors are wild. These machines are just fundamentally fragile.
Fragile how? Like more than just sensitive to the environment?
Yeah. Even in a perfect environment, the qubits themselves can just randomly flip or drift. Maybe a cosmic ray zips through the lab at the wrong moment.
Wait, a cosmic ray? Seriously? Like from outer space?
Seriously. Or a tiny fluctuation in a control pulse. Or just some inherent quantum noise you can't perfectly eliminate. These aren't simple errors either. They're subtle shifts in the qubit state that can mess up the whole calculation if you're not careful.
Wow, a cosmic ray can crash your quantum computation. That's almost funny. It's so fragile. So how do you even get a reliable answer out of something like that? It sounds like pure chaos.
Well, that's where quantum error correction comes in. Or rather, where it needs to come in, because it's another huge challenge. You can't just copy a qubit to check it like you do with classical bits measuring it. Destroys the quantum state, remember?
Ah, right, the spinning coin landing.
Exactly. So instead, the idea is you need to encode the information of one reliable logical qubit across many physical qubits, maybe thousands of them.
Thousands of physical qubits just to make one good one.
Potentially, yes. These helper qubits all work together using really complex code to detect and fix errors in the logical qubit without actually measuring its state directly.
That's insane. It's like needing, I don't know, 50 friends just to send one reliable text message.
That's a good analogy for the overhead involved. It massively increases the number of physical qubits you need, the complexity of controlling them all, the size, the cost, the power consumption, everything goes way up.
And the best machines today have, what, hundreds of physical qubits, not the thousands needed for one logical qubit.
Exactly. We're still quite far from having enough high-quality physical qubits to build even one truly fault-tolerant logical qubit, let alone the thousands you'd need for something like breaking encryption.
Okay, so diva qubits, wild errors needing insane correction. What else is stopping my quantum future?
Well, there's challenge number 3. Hardware is just plain hard. And maybe more importantly, there's not even agreement on the best way to build one.
So we don't even have a standard blueprint.
Not really, no. There are several competing technologies. You've got big players like IBM and Google using superconducting circuits, tiny loops of metal cooled way down.
Right, the super cold ones.
Then you have companies like IonQ using trapped ions. They literally hold individual atoms in place with lasers and magnetic fields.
Trapped atoms? Okay.
And others are trying photons, particles of light, or exploring even more exotic things like topological qubits or diamond vacancies. Each approach has pros and cons. Some have longer coherence times, meaning the quantum state lasts longer. Others might be easier to link together. But all of them have huge engineering hurdles still to overcome.
So it's like the VHS versus Betamax war all over again, but like in 4 dimensions and with way higher stakes.
Yeah, something like that. It's a fundamental format battle happening at the level of basic physics and engineering. Which horse do you back? Where you invest billions. It creates uncertainty across the whole field.
Okay, look, we're painting a pretty tough picture here, but let's be fair. Progress is being made, right? We hear about breakthroughs, things are happening.
Oh, absolutely. The field is incredibly active. And there have been genuine milestones. The most famous one was probably Google's quantum supremacy claim back in 2019.
Right, I remember that. They did something super fast.
They did. Their Sycamore processor performed a very specific kind of abstract calculation, sampling the output of a random quantum circuit in about 200 seconds. They calculated that the same task would take the world's most powerful classical supercomputer something like 10,000 years.
Wow. Okay, that sounds supreme.
It was a landmark scientific achievement, no doubt, a proof of principle. But
here comes the but.
The but is, as one of your sources brilliantly put it, it was a problem no one asked to solve. It wasn't simulating a molecule for drug discovery or optimizing a delivery route. It was a very specific artificial task designed solely to show that a quantum computer could do something faster than a classical one. Hugely important scientifically, but not immediately useful in the real world.
Gotcha. So a demonstration of potential, but not a practical application yet.
Precisely. And yet, despite this gap between demonstration and application, the money pouring in is just staggering. Quantum startups are everywhere. Governments are launching huge national initiatives. Billions and billions are being invested.
Yeah, I saw that. It feels a bit like, I don't know, crypto a few years ago. Massive hype, huge investment, promises of changing the world. But the everyday use case is still kind of fuzzy.
There are definitely parallels in the hype cycle, yeah. And the investment is real. The US, China, Europe, everyone sees this as potentially strategically vital technology for the future economy and security. So they're placing big bets.
But that investment doesn't magically solve the problems, right? You can't just throw money at decoherence and expect it to go away.
Exactly. And it doesn't solve another huge bottleneck, designing the actual quantum algorithms, the software, basically.
Ah, the quantum apps, as you called them earlier.
Right. It's not enough to build the hardware, even if it works perfectly. You need to figure out how to translate real-world problems into a language a quantum computer understands and can solve efficiently. And writing that quantum code, one researcher described it like trying to write code with spaghetti noodles while being electrocuted in space.
Okay, that paints a picture. Spaghetti noodles, electrocuted, in space. Got it. So it's incredibly hard.
It's fundamentally different from classical programming. We just don't have decades of experience or established software tools yet. We have some key algorithms, like Shor's algorithm for factoring.
Yeah, the one that could break encryption. That always gets headlines.
It does, because the implications are massive. If you could run Shor's algorithm on a big enough, stable enough quantum computer, you could theoretically break much of the encryption that protects online banking, communications, everything.
So is that threat real now?
The theoretical threat is real, but the practical threat, not yet. Our sources are clear. Until we have those large-scale, fault-tolerant quantum computers machines with thousands of stable, logical qubits, Shor's remains, quote, an academic threat. We need much, much better hardware first.
Okay, so given all this, the divas, the errors, the hardware wars, the software challenges, the big question is still hanging there. When? When do we actually get these things for real?
Yeah, the million-dollar question, or maybe billion-dollar question now. The general consensus among most experts, looking at the roadmaps and the current pace, we're probably looking at, maybe 10 to 20 years for practical, scalable, fault-tolerant machines.
10 to 20 years. Okay, although, didn't they say 10 to 20 years back in, like, 1998?
Huh. Yes, there's definitely a running joke about quantum computing always being 20 years away. And there's some truth to that historical perspective. But I wouldn't dismiss the current estimate entirely. The progress now is arguably much faster. The investment is orders of magnitude higher, and the engineering is getting much more sophisticated. The sheer amount of talent flooding into this field, from physics, engineering, computer science, it's incredible. Companies like Microsoft, Google, IBM, IonQ, Rigetti, they are making tangible progress year after year, improving qubit quality, coherence times, control systems, and it is moving forward, just maybe not the speed the initial hype suggested.
So slow and steady, grinding away at these massive problems.
Pretty much. It's deep science and hard engineering.
And assuming they do get there in 10 or 20 years or whenever,
Sure.
Remind us what the payoff looks like again. Why is it worth all this trouble?
Oh, the potential payoff is immense. Truly transformative. Imagine designing new life-saving drugs in months instead of decades, because you can accurately simulate molecules. Or discovering new materials with amazing properties, better catalysts, superconductors that work at room temperature. Imagine optimizing global shipping or traffic flow in ways that save billions and drastically cut emissions. Think about AI getting a massive boost, maybe achieving kinds of intelligence we can't even properly imagine right now.
A brain transplant for AI.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And yes, the flip side, the need to completely overhaul cybersecurity because current encryption becomes vulnerable. It touches almost everything.
Okay, that's a future worth working towards. Even with the spaghetti code and diva qubits, it sounds incredibly exciting and maybe a little bit scary too. But all right, until that quantum dawn arrives, I guess, well, we'll just keep rebooting our trusty classical machines and, I don't know, maybe pretend the next time Excel crashes, it's just some early quantum interference leaking through.
Huh. Sounds like a plan. But seriously, even if the widespread impact is still a way off, the journey itself is fascinating. It's pushing the absolute boundaries of what we know about physics, information, and engineering. It forces us to ask really fundamental questions. And, it's a good reminder to stay curious about these emerging technologies, but also to keep a critical eye on the hype versus the reality.
Excellent advice. Okay, until next time, stay logical, stay curious, and maybe don't trust particles that can't seem to make up their mind.